What is up, everybody? Bobby here, the Nintendo Guru. It is time for that breakdown every single week, Monday through Friday, every day in between. I take the top Nintendo stories of the day, talk about them, discuss them, break them down, give my opinions on them. So,
here we go.
I got three stories that I want to talk about. One is kind of a rumor, so I'm going to save the rumor for last because there might be some spoilers and I want people to kind of walk away if they want the ability to walk away from it. But the first thing is, we have 4.5 update on Splatoon 2. They've done some extensive updates on this thing. They rebalanced a lot of weapons, sub-weapons, special weapons, and gear abilities, as well as implementing fixes to multiple issues that have been identified. We're kind of winding down. Splatoon 2 updates and all that is starting to come to a close. I think we're probably going to wrap in some time, like I think it's supposed to be like July or August, somewhere in there will be the final Splatfests, and the patchwork and all that stuff is going to kind of end, which is kind of upsetting a little bit. I recently just jumped back into Splatoon 2 last week. Been playing with the community, having a blast playing, and it's sad to see that we're not going to get anything more, even from gear aspects. Like, I would love if Nintendo would just accept this game to be like, this is going to be our legacy game. We're going to continue to add stuff on as time moves on, and just continue to fill the coffers with just great content for Splatoon 2. There's no need for a Splatoon 3. Let's be honest. Just change some things to Splatoon 2 that you can actually do with updates. Just keep pushing this. If you want to do expansion packs each year, that's fine. I would wholeheartedly give you 20 to 50 bucks for expansion packs. To just be like, okay, here you go. Here's a nice meaty solo campaign, or here's some raids that you guys can do with your friends and all that stuff. Like, I think there's so much opportunity that's kind of being lost with Splatoon 2 kind of going away. And it bothers me a little bit, and it doesn't bother me in a sense like it makes me mad or angry. It just makes me think like, man, we could have so much more from this version of Splatoon 2. Like, we could have so much more. And I love what we have of Splatoon 2 now compared to when it launched. There's so much content in here. So it kind of bothers me to think that we're not going to get any more for this. And then potentially when we do get a Splatoon 3, they are basically going to start from scratch again and redo this whole thing again. And I'm not looking forward to that at all. But we'll see. Time will tell, and we'll go from there. I don't know who was paying attention yesterday, but if you were, Nintendo actually put a tweet out and then pulled the tweet away and they deleted it. It's rare that Nintendo does that. Typically, whatever they tweet is what it is. There was a Twitter follower, Twitter person.
Tweeter? Whatever that is. I don't know. What do you call Twitter followers? What do you call people on Twitter? Tweeters? Twatters? I don't know. But anyway, here we go.
So, MNGZENO screen grabbed the tweet. The tweet says, it appears in Pokemon Sword Shield that gyms in the Galar region are now bigger than ever. What types of gym masters are waiting for you to challenge them? You and your new Pokemon partner will have to train hard to find out. And then you see two images where it feels like Coliseums. We've seen these in the trailers that they showed originally, where it feels like you're going into a football stadium or a soccer stadium for those in Europe and around the world that don't know what football is, what real football is.
I know you guys are all hepped up on this kicking this round ball around. That's football, but it's not. Let me tell you something. American football is where. Okay, I digress. I'm sorry. I got a little ahead of myself. Please forgive me.
We saw this and then immediately people came into question like, what is this? Is this going to be the way the gyms are? Like these big arenas and such? Where you got that feel of like that was, you're basically building to this tournament, this big spectator thing, this esport feeling, this professional sport of Pokemon battles. Interesting. I can't wait to find out more. It's going to be pretty cool. So this next part, I'm just going to start off with, I'm going to preface it with spoiler alerts. There is a rumor that is out. I'm going to give you guys time to kind of shut the video down now. Go away if you don't want to hear anything about it. It is about Animal Crossing. So there was basically a rumor that got tweeted out and all that stuff. Some very detailed information of what we could potentially see. So if you don't want to hear about that, please, this is your last warning. Shut the video down. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. You know, but for those that do want to hear, here we go. We're going to move along. There's a couple rumors. Number one, September of 2019 is the major rumor. Now, I reported this a couple weeks ago that I believe that's when it's going to be. There is basically placeholders in the UK at certain stores of a September release date. This is very potentially true. As you look around the schedule, it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot going on for Nintendo. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe City Folk was an October or September game when that originally launched on the Wii. Nintendo tends to try to do games like in the earlier part of the summer or in the tail end of the year for Animal Crossing games. That's most typically how, in history, that's how it's worked out and lasted. So that being said, I want to kind of go through these rumors here. This rumor comes from John Cabrera. We're just actually going to go and break down, and I haven't read this list yet. So I don't know exactly. I just saw that it was a list and I stopped reading. I got one or two things. I was like, let me just go through his list and break it down of what I feel about these rumors, whether I believe them or not or whatever it might be. So here's the number one. You can create actual paths. You can create actual paths in the other games. What that means, I'm not sure. Does that actually give you the ability to now go, here's your patterns for shirts and stuff, but here's paths? And also, do these paths stop from being kicked up? Which is, if that's the case, sign me up, man. I am on board for that. Because that's one of the most frustrating things about an Animal Crossing game is you spend all this time dropping down paths, and then for what? Someone comes in and kicks a couple up, and then you gotta go relay them. But this is kind of cool because it also, if paths are being apart, the one thing that comes to mind is when you shake a tree and fruit falls down, typically, if you have paths all around that tree, the fruit would disappear. Now, will the fruit land on top of the paths? Interesting. Very interesting concept. I guess we'll find out. No loading screens. Man, think about that. No loading screens. So that means when you go into a house, when you go into the city, per se, there's no shutdown. It stays. When you go to the island, if this is all... I haven't got through the list yet, so I don't know. This is mind-blowing. A la Breath of the Wild, where when you played Breath of the Wild, you never shut that game down. When you played, there was no load screens and no stopping in the game, only when you died. But for the most... Well, and when you went to shrines. But when you went into a house, it just pulled you into the house. There was none of that, like, stop the game, load the house up, and all that. So this is interesting. This is really interesting. Choose your town type, size, island, desert, etc. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that at all. And I don't know that I like that. I mean, I guess I like this type, the size. I'm not sure what type means. Island and desert. I mean, who wants to live on a desert? Who wants to have a... The desert is... No, we don't need that. What this does... Why this bothers me is, man, I can see me totally just going off and creating multiple towns. Kind of like Elizabeth with her 6 or 7 or 8 or 15 towns she has.
She's crazy. I don't know if you guys follow Elizabeth over on Twitch. She's crazy, man. Too many towns. Anyway.
Over 100 new animals, including new species, and bats are one of them. I like that. I like the fact that we're getting new animals. Pretty cool. We already have 400 animals as it is. So it's kind of cool that we're getting new animals. New species. We definitely need new species. I've been kind of wondering when we're going to get that anyway. So that's kind of cool. You can move things around in your house with guests over. So that was a thing in the past. In the past, you could not move furniture when there was someone in the house. So if you ever wanted to pick something up, and take it outside and give it to somebody. You couldn't do that in the past. So this is kind of cool. New clothing, no shocker there. New types of fish, bugs, etc. No shocker there. I totally expected that. The flea market makes a return. So the flea market was basically in the retail, so that's, again, not a big thing. They've always kind of done that flea market type thing. They had an auction house in City Folk. They did the flea market in New Leaf. Kind of makes sense. I'm hearing the game runs at a solid 60 frames per second in handheld. That's crazy. But then again, it's only, I mean, it's not an aggressive game, meaning there's not a lot of stuff coming at you, and so 60 frames doesn't seem like that's a stretch or very difficult to achieve. But it's good no less. It's very good no less. This is interesting. 8-player online multiplayer with only Nintendo Online. You can play without online service, but that will only allow up to 2 players. So that's interesting. That's very interesting. So they're going to basically push the Nintendo Online thing. But I do like the fact that they're not limiting it to only Nintendo Online users. I know people were scared about that and worried about that, but still 8 people coming to your town? That is insanity. I like it. I like it. Split screen co-op with 2 Joy-Cons is possible. Man, I would not want to do split screen on a little tabletop mode. On TV, I'm cool with that. That would be okay with me. Especially if you have a bigger TV. But on a small little tabletop, nah, that's small. But whatever. I mean, I wouldn't play that way anyway, so it is what it is. Different town layers make a return. Now, I'm assuming they mean levels. So, in previous games, you had, like, a higher level, middle, and then lower. Like, in City Folk, you had high level, and then it went to a mid-tier, and then you went down to the beach. New Leaf kind of did away with that. New Leaf was kind of like a plateau that you had to take, like, a walkway down to the beach. Everything was flat. So I like this, that we're going back to that, because I really like that. Amiibo support works with old Amiibo. That's awesome. I wonder what it's going to do for us. I wonder if it allows us to bring villagers in, similar to the update that we got with Welcome Amiibo for New Leaf, where if I had a card, which I have cards, so if I took a card and say I want Ozzy here to move to town, I would scan Ozzy in, and then Ozzy would show up in town. My town was full, I could kick someone out and bring Ozzy in, which I like, because if I don't like you now, you're out. See you later. Peace out. Windows will no longer be a flat texture from the indoors. Now, I wonder what that means. Because, I mean, it was always a flat texture, but what does that allow you to do? What does that not allow to do? Interesting. Interesting. I mean, can you open the windows from the inside? This is crazy. Fully rotational camera inside and outdoors. So people have been talking about this. They would like the ability to kind of like spin the camera. Because when you play the game, right, you typically play Animal Crossing. If you duck behind a house, you can't see what's behind the house. Now you could actually spin the camera to shift, and now you can see behind the houses. That's kind of cool. That's really kind of cool. Adds a whole different dynamic to the game as well. I like what I'm hearing so far. That's just madness, man. That's crazy. I like that. Overhauled friendship system. I don't know what that means. I'm assuming that means no more friend codes, or it does. The friendship system was kind of good. Maybe that's what it means. Like, and I've been leaning towards this. So I've always wanted this to be an open world where people could come to my town, I could go to their town, I don't have to do anything. And then you tier them off basing on friendship. Like who comes and who could stay and who could pick up stuff and who could steal stuff and whatever you want to do. Who could go shop when you're not there. I wonder if this has a little bit to do with it. Where, you know, my boy Alex Van Aken, if I want Alex to come over and buy whatever he wants when he comes over, he's able to do that. No questions asked. But when I have someone like Toby Thornton or Sean Capri that I don't trust at all, I would not let them come in and run wreck shop in my town because they're just very shady individuals. You know what I mean? Sorry, guys. Sorry. I guess time will tell. I guess we'll see how this all works out. Some of this stuff I definitely believe because it just makes sense. Some of this stuff I'm also not sure about. But you know what? If we got this stuff, it's kind of cool. Now, the thing is I don't know the credibility of this person. I've never heard of this person before. It's not like we're getting it from someone big, you know what I mean? So the thing is like, because they're coming up with such specific things, could it be, could it not be? We've never heard of this guy before. So this is, you got to take this with a super grain of salt. I don't know if this is something that we can trust at all. It'll be interesting. He's also saying that this year's E3 is going to highlight Animal Crossing big time. I'm assuming the set and the design of the booth is going to be themed around Animal Crossing. Makes a lot of sense. So we'll see. So let me know, seriously, in the comments below, do you agree with any of this stuff? If, you know, is there stuff that you want out of this? Are you excited for this stuff? Let me know in the comments below. So that is all. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Nintendo Guru Daily. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please slap the like button down below. Share it with all your friends. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Follow me, Instagram, Twitter, @Nintendo Gurus. That is all. Peace out, Preston.